Hey, what's up, guys? I just wanted to check in with you. It is Thursday. It's a digital day. We are going to do a Zoom or not a Zoom, a Microsoft Teams chat at 11. I'll post a link in there as it gets closer to that time. But I just wanted to check in with you guys and kind of remind you the importance of this week. Before I get started, I just want to let you know they're doing some work on the boiler next door. So if some banging starts, I'm going to pause the video and then I'll just jump back in when it stops. But so sorry if this video is kind of choppy, but I don't want you guys to have to hear the banging, especially if you're listening on headphones. So this week we have the assignment, the formative assessment. Okay, so if we come in and you guys look at your assignments that you have for this week, the formative assessment is a big one for us, okay, because that's going to be our IB grade. That's going to take a look at these two specific standards and see can you do this, okay? So this assignment right here, this is going to be the one that we really need to make sure we give our best effort on that. So to kind of look at what that looks like for you guys, it's asking you to draw a Bohr model of the atom silicon, okay? And then it's asking you to draw a diagram of a solid liquid gas and show the phase change of atoms and how the atoms behave in that. Okay, so I don't want to give us the answer, but the great thing about science is that we're trying to learn this stuff, and we're trying to add this information to our toolbox of knowledge. So just to kind of remind us a little bit. Just kind of a little bit of a recap on the information that we get in our periodic table, right? So if I'm thinking about the element oxygen, right? And oxygen, if we found it in the periodic table, it would be O. It's got an 8 by it. Oxygen is in column 6, and it's in row 2 if we looked above and to the side of the periodic table. So that tells us, that it's going to have 2 shells. So this is just the number of shells or electron levels, whatever you want to call them, right? We've been using a few different words for that. And then up top, this is going to tell us the number of valence electrons, right? So we know it has 2 shells, and we know it has 6 on the outermost shell, because that's what the valence shell is. So we could easily just start by just adding 2 shells. And we know the first shell can always hold 2 electrons. And if it's in column 6, that's the number of valence electrons, so we know it has 6 valence electrons. We could also know that because the atomic number is 8, right? So that means it has 8 protons and 8 electrons. For our sake, we're going to say it's 8 neutrons as well. So the last thing we would need to do for this is just to say that there are indeed 8 protons and 8 neutrons in the nucleus. Right? So this would be an acceptable Bohr model for oxygen. Okay? So I gave you guys silicon. So the first thing that you would need to do, right? Don't mind the NFL schedule, just looking at some games this weekend. The first thing you need to do is find the periodic table. Okay? And if we look at the periodic table, you would find silicon. And if we come right here, we see that silicon is number 14, right? And it's in column 4, and it's in row 3. So I'm not going to do this for you, but if we knew that silicon, right, is number, what did I say? Number 14. Okay, and it's in column 4, row 3. So it's in column 4, row 3, right? So that means it's going to have 4 valence electrons. That means it's going to have 3 shells. And that's going to tell us it has 14 of everything, right? So protons, neutrons, electrons. So I would just need you guys to be able to show me that you can put those in the right place, in the right numbers. Just show me you have an understanding of that. All right, so that one should be pretty easy. Once you finish that, remember we come down here and you can just use the snip tool. All right, click new, drag a box around this. This shouldn't be new at this point, right? File save as, and then you can hide it, and then back on the assignment you're going to insert and then insert picture. Okay, from device. There's plenty of videos that show that if you need to go back and watch. Okay, and then the next thing is the next assignment, or the next question of the assessment, is just asking you guys to model atoms through a phase change. And I suggest you use an ice cube as your thinking, right? Because an ice cube is easier for us to visualize as a solid, a liquid, and a gas, right? So if you have an ice cube, all those atoms are stuck together, right? They're not stuck together, but they're packed super duper close together. They're vibrating, but they're just tightly packed together. They're not moving by much. We can't see, like we don't look at a table and be like, oh, that table's moving, right? The atoms are all packed together as a solid, all right? And as that ice cube begins to melt, and I'm not going to discuss what that is as far as thermal energy goes. That's something I need you guys to be able to gather from the other resources. And hopefully we know this by now. And if not, the phase changes practice activity should help you with that. So when something happens with thermal energy, these atoms, right, melt. The solid melts and these atoms spread out, right? They take the shape of that container just like an ice cube would. If you have an ice cube in a cup and it melts, the water is just going to fill the bottom of that cup. And then as that thermal energy continues to change, and I'll let you guys be able to say that's more or less whatever, those atoms become so excited they actually begin to leave that cup, right, and fly around. And that idea would be that water boiling. So this obviously would not be an 8 out of 8, right? There's not a lot of information in here. This doesn't really show me what I'm looking at, but hopefully this kind of gives some of you who may have been stuck for a second a little bit of a starting point, okay? And just remember that once you're back on this assignment, you guys can just click insert and then picture. This assignment, if you can get an 8 out of 8 on this, you're going to see a tremendous growth in your grade. Those of us who don't earn that 8, that's okay. I mean, 6s and 7s are fantastic too, but keep in mind I will offer the ability for you to go back and give this another try. But my hope at this point is that we don't really need that second try because all of this information was there, right? This isn't like a difficult math test that maybe you were struggling with a concept, right? This is just the ideas that you need to be able to go and look for. And if you're really struggling right now, I think the real problem is probably based on a lack of effort. And I don't want that to sound rude, but really these assignments are go and watch this video and take some notes and answer some questions and play this game. And then at the end of the day, I'm not pulling all of those facts back out from you, right? Like I didn't ask you on this assessment anything about Dalton or any of those other people who were discovering parts of the atom, right? I'm just asking you to just show me straight up, can you do what our standard asks me to have you be able to do? And in this case, it's draw a model of an atom, which you're going to be doing in question 1, and to be able to draw a diagram of atoms in a phase change, which you're going to be doing in question 2. Okay, so really try your best. I'm not going to have you guys just screenshot for this. I want you to actually draw these in Paint and then put that snip tool and add these pictures over. I don't want you just to find something from the internet because that is not you producing something. That would be Google producing something. Okay, so do your best. Don't forget, it's not just this assignment this week. You still have the other assignments as well. Let's not forget about our work ethic grade and keep getting those points as well. So you have a couple videos, and then you have this activity phase changes practice. All right, so at 11 today, we will have a Teams chat. So if you're someone who maybe had class today on Thursday and I had told you that I would take a look at your test before you guys packed up and headed home, just to let you know if you're on the right track or not. Maybe you should tune in today at 11 and you can ask about that or have me check your assignment. Okay, so hope you guys are doing great. I know these smoke days are tough, but hopefully this lets you guys get a little bit of a recharge going into the break next week, and then we can come back after break ready to roll. So have a great day, and I will talk to you at 11.